here are the most disturbing things of the Amazing Digital Circus. Enjoy!
Ya llegamos.
Y esto es...
Al Preli. Let's start, of course, from the beginning, as the Amazing Digital Circus is filled with disturbing things right from the opening. While the intro is playing and we meet the circus characters, we witness the exact moment of Pomni's arrival. It is pretty clear that she does not understand anything of what is happening and is really scared by what she sees.
And I mean, with good reason. Picture this. You are peacefully at home, minding your own business, and suddenly you find yourself in a place filled with strange creatures at a circus. What's in front of you are no longer humans, but rather teeth with eyes, a living doll, and whatever Sobel is.
But that's not the worst of it all. The real issue here is that when Pomni says she wants to leave this place, she realizes that there's actually no exit at all. She'll be trapped here for the rest of her life, and that's if she can even die, because if not, she'll be there for all eternity. Goodbye family, goodbye friends, goodbye life, all due to something as simple as putting on a VR headset.
Another thing that happens during the intro is that Pomni bumps into everyone else while they are singing. This causes Gangle to lose balance, and his face literally falls off and shudders in front of her very own eyes.
Although based on what we've seen so far, it doesn't seem like the characters suffer from physical harm. After all, Pomni almost plucks out her eye, and Zubul is separated into parts without showing any signs of pain. But that doesn't change the fact that we just witnessed someone's face being destroyed.
Moreover, Gangle's design is inspired by the traditional theater masks that represent comedy and tragedy, and as we can see, she's left with the tragedy mask. This not only changes her face, but also affects her mood, and since she no longer has her happy mask, Pomni essentially leaves Gangle in a state of perpetual depression, or well, at least until she obtains another happy mask.
In the midst of Pomni's confusion, the other characters attempt to explain to her what's happening. It is then that Jax shows up and states that there's no way out. In fact, they've been there for years.
This leads us to contemplate two things. On the one hand, since everyone entered that place through virtual reality, it's possible that their physical bodies are still in the real world. We can be certain though, as we have only seen the pilot episode of the series. However, if this theory is correct, it's likely that the corpses of these individuals are out there in the world, having likely died from starvation since they couldn't return to the physical realm.
On the other hand, if entering the digital realm involves bringing along their physical bodies, then from the perspective of their loved ones, these individuals simply vanish without a trace. They don't know if they ran away, got lost, or were kidnapped. They haven't heard anything from them for who knows how long.
And the worst part is that they cannot even find closure to their pain by locating their bodies. At least that way, they could stop searching and begin the process of grieving their loss. But no, that type of closure is unattainable, as they are not even in the physical world anymore, and there's no way for anyone on the outside to find them.
Amidst the cast of characters, there's one quite intriguing, Kinger. According to the series, he's the character who has been in the circus the longest, and he may even be one of the first humans to enter this realm. However, despite the assumption that his longevity will help him navigate the digital circus, the reality is quite the opposite.
It appears that being trapped for so long has severely affected his psyche, as he is one of the least mentally stable characters, often hiding in parts or saying things that apparently make no sense, like when he said the following.
Did someone say something about an insect collection?
Interestingly, later on, he actually encounters a collection of insects.
This suggests that Kinger may have already experienced the adventure of this episode before. If this is the case, then perhaps King has a limited number of adventures to keep the characters' minds occupied, causing him to repeat the same ones over and over again, making the lives of everyone trapped in this place even more depressing.
Something that can be truly terrifying is the level of control that individuals can exert over others. Consider, for instance, the internet, where our personal information can easily get into the hands of anyone, leaving us incredibly vulnerable. While this may not pose a significant threat to many, it's still disturbing how much someone can know about us without our awareness.
In Digital Circus, things are even more unsettling, since Kane, who is in charge of the entire circus and everything around it, is practically a deity in this realm. He not only has the ability to surveil everyone trapped in there at any time and place, but he also possesses the ability to determine their fate with a mere flick of his fingers. What could be more unsettling than being at the mercy of someone so powerful and somewhat crazy?
Alongside Kane is an adorable bubble named, well, Bubble, who assists him with whatever he needs. Initially, there's nothing unsettling about the relationship. However, as the episode goes on, we witness a couple of scenes where, out of nowhere, Kane decides to burst her.
You parasites!
In theory, this might not seem like a big deal, as Bubble is presumably an artificial intelligence just like Kane, or at least I hope so. But still, when considered that Bubble can die as easily as being popped with a finger, things take a darker turn, especially when we see how Kane does it as if it's no big deal. If he can treat his companion this way without remorse, I dread to imagine what he might do to other characters without a second thought.
But Bubble is not far behind in the unsettling department, as we can see her doing some rather odd things. And while it's not extremely disturbing, the truth is that watching her clean up Pomni's vomit with her tongue is quite gross. Besides, what the f did Pomni vomit?
Something quite unsettling is the fact that when Kane asks Pomni what her name is, she can seem to remember it. And so it becomes clear that, upon entering the digital world, one completely forgets their past life.
Can you imagine how overwhelming this must be? Not only is she in an unfamiliar place with strange creatures, not knowing what's happening and unable to escape, but on top of all that, she can't even remember who she is. Everything she once was no longer exists, and her identity was replaced as easily as pulling a lever and waiting for some letters to rearrange randomly. This only reflects how insignificant the lives, memories, and identities of these people are to Kane.
Something that at first glance is quite strange is how all the other characters, despite also being people who got trapped, display little concern about being in the circus. Don't they miss their lives in their physical world? Don't they want to return to their families? The reason behind this behavior is answered in a simple yet dark way: resignation.
When they first arrived, much like Pomni, all they wanted was to escape. But as time passed and days turned into months and months into years, they gradually accepted that there was no solution. The only option they had to avoid descending into madness was to accept their new lives.
This is where Kane's adventures come into play. He creates activities for the characters to keep them busy and distracted from their predicament. It is a way to control their emotional and mental anguish, preventing them from breaking down completely, and the characters accept these activities to maintain some sense of stability.
However, this is not a miraculous cure. Ragata shows us how, even though this may help them a little, their minds aren't entirely healthy. They resign themselves, yes, but this doesn't mean they accept their fate gladly. They still have a desire to live, but since it's an unattainable goal, if they allow this desire to consume them, they'll end up being abstracted.
Going a step further, it is even more disturbing to think that when they were in the physical world, they had their own goals and aspirations, just like everyone else, but when they arrive at the circus, their goals disappear, and only one thing occupies their minds: escaping. But since this is impossible to achieve, one could say they've entirely lost the meaning of their lives. If they do not have a feasible goal to accomplish, what else is left for them but to find a way to avoid becoming abstracted?
After things calm down, Ragata shows Pomni where everyone's rooms are. However, it's quite unsettling to see provisions for sleep and food when they don't actually need them. Essentially, eating and sleeping are just ways for them to hold onto their humanity. It's a means for them to retain some semblance of who they once were, even though that identity is long gone.
When Ragata, Pomni, and Jax arrive at Kaufman's door, he doesn't answer their calls. So, out of nowhere, Jax pulls out the key to his room. This surprises Ragata, and Jax tells her that he actually has access to everyone's rooms, and he even left her a present, a centipede, her greatest fear.
For now, it was just a joke, but wouldn't it be terrifying if someone like Jax, who seems like a deranged rabbit who does morally questionable things, had access to your room? I don't know about you, but after Kane, I think Jax is the most terrifying person in this place.
When Kaufman's door opens, we are confronted with something horrifying. He's being abstracted. The thing is that, just like Pomni, Kaufman claimed to have seen an exit door and became obsessed with it. Seeing a possible way out with his own eyes caused his desire to rapidly intensify, to the point that he sank deeper and deeper into madness because he could not actually escape as the door disappears whenever someone tries to use it. This can be seen in the eerie appearance of his room, where the word exit is scratched into all the walls.
But that's not all. It turns out that when someone reaches that state, they become abstracted and transformed into some sort of corrupted monster covered in ice that seems to have no control over itself and is in constant pain. Even though Kaufman began to see a glimmer of hope, it was this very hope that condemned him into an eternity of agony.
Apparently, characters in this world cannot die. We deduce this from Kaufman's brutal assault on Ragata, as he threw her against the walls and floor on the hallway with immense force, yet she remains alive. Even though she survived all of this, it seems that the attack from someone abstracted causes them immense pain. As we we can see Ragatha begging Kofmo for mercy with great terror.
Moreover, after the attack, she starts glitching, causing her body to become stable and being barely able to move and speak. Furthermore, towards the end of the episode, she crawls towards Kane, begging him to fix her, and if Ragatha was in such immense pain, I don't even want to imagine how much Kofmo must be suffering.
Another thing worth noting in this scene is the presence of numerous rooms with the pictures of other characters that are not featured in this episode, all of them marked with a red X.
It's clear that prior to Pomni and the others, many more individuals were trapped in the circus, and either Kane did something to them or they suffered the same fate as Kofmo. In any case, it's terrifying to know that every time the characters pass through that halfway, they are reminded that they have only two options: either to remain trapped indefinitely in a state of eternal resignation, or to become abstracted by attempting to find a way out.
This situation gets even worse when you realize that at the end of the episode, Kane trapped Kofmo inside a pitch black room filled with more abstracted characters. It is very likely that they were the owners of the rooms that are crossed out, or at least some of them. Now, their only fate is to endure eternal agony and suffering in complete darkness.
Going back to where we left, when Ragatha is left in a dire state, Pomni starts searching for Kane throughout the entire circus to inform him of what's happening. However, she only finds really strange phenomena. Among them is a mannequin in a bathroom that startles Pomni with a screamer.
On its own, this might not be very terrifying, but upon deeper reflection, it can become unsettling. This screamer bears a striking resemblance to Gangle's mask. However, this time, the face on this mask is completely distorted. So, is this also a reflection of the mannequin's state of mind?
Just look at that face and tell me that it doesn't depict extreme suffering, and the scream it emits is utterly chilling. With this in mind, could it be that even the NPCs of this place are not at ease being here?
Fast forwarding a bit, following Pomni's escape from Kofmo, who appears to attack indiscriminately, consumed by complete madness, she manages to enter the exit door. This leads her to strange rooms that seem to never end, until she encounters one in particular that starts to drive her insane.
Setting aside all the possible theories about this computer for now, let's focus on what happens next. Upon passing through the door to leave this room, Pomni finds herself in the void. Here, as the name suggests, there seems to be nothing, and this ultimately breaks Pomni, as it seemed like she had finally found a way to escape this dreadful place, only to have her hopes shattered when she realizes that beyond the exit, there's absolutely nothing.
Alternatively, maybe there is indeed something out there, and it was precisely this revelation that broke her. After all, there's a moment when Kane mentions that not even he knows what lies within the void. Who knows if Pomni was the first to witness whatever lurks in that place, and the simple act of seeing it broke her mind. In either case, what is certain is that from now on, Pomni has no other option but to accept her fate of being trapped in this place forever.
If you like this video, please give it a like and watch this other video that we think you like. We love you! Bye!